I'm Dave Riggert, voice of the Griffons, joined by Missouri Western Director of Athletics, Kurt McGuffin, as you have a new head football coach. Matt Williamson has been hired as a new head football coach at Missouri Western. Talk about this process, first of all. Has it been challenging?
Well, I think anytime you replace a coach, then there's a challenging. There's a risk factor anytime, but it has been. But it's been rewarding in that the fact that we have a good position here. You know, there's a foundation laid here that I know that we can build on if we get the right personality, we get the right person with some really good relationship skills, and I think Matt's gonna do that for us.
Talk about Matt. Why did he stand above everybody else?
Well, I've never been a part of a search where just the recommendations from all different people, high school coaches, former players, former teammates, alums, community members, that there was a lot of support behind Matt. And then when I got a chance to get to know him and get to know what he's about, there's a lot of energy. There's a lot of loyalty. There's a lot of spirit behind him, and I know he's really hungry to get this thing rolling.
Did he meet all the criteria that you set out to get?
Well, I think we had a pretty clear criteria. I mean, there's no set thing when you hire somebody. There's always the risk, but in the end, we wanted somebody that I knew had been in the MWSU. Like I've said before, this conference is too hard if you don't know what type of player and coaches that are in this league. You got to have some experience within it. Secondly, if they had Missouri Western ties, all the better, and we'll definitely have that with Matt. And I'm really excited for him because I know he's been away for 11 years and been very successful in 2 different stops, and I think we're going to see that here.
Is there concern that you let Coach Partridge go? He coached with Coach Partridge. There's some of those ties. Is that a concern at all?
No, I think Matt, definitely will bring some of that. He was a good football coach, and we're going to bring Matt in with just this renewed energy, this new kind of start over, this fresh start that I think we're excited to get off the ground. And there's just a lot of relationship there that he brought to the table, and I think you're going to see that.
He's never been a head coach before. Was that an issue at all when you looked at the candidates and looked at Matt?
Well, not everybody's been a head coach before. I wasn't an AD before, and that someone's got to give somebody a shot. And he had all the other intangibles, relationships with high school coaches in the recruiting circles. He had relationships with our alums and former players, former teammates. He's had all those other things, and then all the head coaches that he's worked for highly recommended him and said, there's no one better and no one more ready than this coach right there, because the coach he's worked for the last 10 years has put off a couple of head coaches, and he said this one's more ready than anyone I've ever sent off into this business. So I'm excited for that, because I think anytime you're the first time, you're so hungry to prove yourself, and I can see that in Matt.
You told me off the air that you just enjoyed spending time with him, his personality and everything. Kind of expand on that a little bit and talk about what really drew you to him.
Well, I could see that he had just a high character, that he was about his family. He was about where he went to school quite a bit. He had a great plan, a folder of everything was laid out that he expected to happen, over the next few years in Missouri Western football. His high character, I could see that, and then his energy level was off the charts, that he was just ready to go. And since him and I discussed this and agreed to terms, I don't think I've ever, it's hard to corral him right now because he's so excited and his family's so excited, and we just can't wait to get him here and welcome him back.
And again, he does know kind of the Griffon way, so to speak. I'm sure that does help. And you mentioned from the very beginning you wanted to find Missouri Western ties a little bit if you could.
Yeah, I think that's real important. I mean, it's every place is different. And to come in someplace new and not know some traditions, to not know, people on campus, there's still some of those people in place. Like I said, we're going to try to build on the foundation that was laid over the last few years, and I think, Matt has some new ideas and some new energy and some new spirit about him that it will continue to be successful.
How about as far as his assistant coaches, things like that? Is that something that you'll kind of let him do whatever he wants to do with, and how quickly will that take place?
I can't imagine getting hired as a football coach because you're starting to think about a million things, and yet staff, unlike, maybe a basketball or another coach where you got one person to bring in, he's got 6 or 7 people to put on his staff and to make sure that he does it right the first time, because, he's the one that told me, I'm going to get one shot at this, so I want to make sure my staff that feeds off me and knows what I'm about. So he's actively he's actively put some people in place, because that's natural. You always think about when you get the job, who's going to be with you, and we're working through that. We'll work through that a lot more, I know, as we continue to make offers to those staff members. But I think you're going to see a staff that has unbelievable energy, that they feed off that head coach, and that have relationships in this community, and have relationships in the Midwest, so that we can continue recruiting.
You glad this process is over?
You know, anytime, whether you release somebody, or someone resigns, or someone moves on for something else, these take up a lot of time, and it has been rewarding to have a support group from different people that I leaned on, and it was I think they're ready for this change, and we're ready for that fresh start.
Kurt, congratulations.
Thank you.
Matt
Appreciate it.
Williamson is the new head football coach at Missouri Western. That's Kurt McGuffin. I am Dave Riggert for Griffon Sports Insider.